Hello, my name is Christian Chavez. I'm majoring in consumer affairs and I'm minoring in public relations. Um, Prior to this assignment, I identified as a Filipino American, um, but throughout Part A and Part B, questions arose, and I came to the conclusion that um, I hold my Filipino heritage very strongly. Um, within my day to day life, but I can't say the same for um, my categorization of being American. Um, and these are through my socioeconomic, um, my ethnicity, as well as my religion. Um, I come from a city in the northern Bay Area, um, where the population is mostly of people of color, um, primarily blacks, Hispanics, and Asians. Um, so I was exposed to a fair amount of cultures while growing up, but there were definitely some that I hadn't got a chance to um, experience. Um, that was something that changed when I moved to college because I was able to meet so many different people from different parts of the world who had completely different experiences than my own. It was very interesting to see that and to take that forward in how I see the world and the more other people that I meet. Um, I was fortunate to interview my classmate who identifies as being a black male. And when asked how much he identifies, the answer wasn't an amount, but rather that he had no other choice but to accept the stereotype of a black male that had been set in America and through media um, throughout the years. The most difficult situation that he underwent was the learning of history and how black men were looked at and treated. Um, learning from a young age shaped how he perceived the world. Um, and the parents um, took a step in to helping them allow to understand the world by showing documentaries, but this way was very explicit, um, causing nightmares and confusion of why these horrible things happen. He tells me of a clear memory um, of Emmett Lewis, whose face was shown after being brutally murdered. Um, as he grew older, the conversation topics of race and difficulty among um, that topic decreased and is a very rare conversation of topic now. Um, Moving back onto a more positive experience, um, he said seeing other men not fall into the stereotypical depiction of black males and pursuing their interests and talents. Um, we live in a society where many more people are able to pursue their interests and talents because they have more opportunities. Um, Negative experience he shared was when visiting the Long Beach Pike Sunglass Hut, where an employee ran after him, accusing him of stealing a pair of glasses. Now, with his approach, he didn't ask, but he just demanded that he give back what he had stolen. he was um, taken back by the employee and could do nothing but ask him why he would think such a thing. It was resolved in the end after he had apologized for the misunderstanding, but there wasn't a misunderstanding. It was just plain prejudice. Um, Moving on to the cultural aspect, religion was a very big factor in his family. It was what grounded and supported the family. Um, on Sundays, there would be family church gatherings, followed by gatherings at their grandmother's home. Here they would share meals, and with those meals, they would get closer. Um, Also, his father was a deacon in training. Um, these are items that portray how religion was impactful in his early years. Um, when discussing the traditional roles and responsibilities within his family, it fell um, generally to the general roles that men and women take. Men take the role as the provider. This generally means financially, um, but women are also taking up that role with the increases of living in areas as well, um, and just being more capable. But women are hold the responsibility of being the support within their family, and sometimes they may put their own needs and wants aside to help those of the family. Um, um, while he did not identify with many of the values, beliefs, and traditions within his family, one aspect that he will be taking forward is the family and community he had learned. Um, with it came loyalty, where individuals were reliable and supported whenever they were needed to. Um, Many of the factors that he did not identify were explained to be negative results coming from the past. Um, and those specific impacts don't bring positivity. Food is a good example um, because in those times, nutritious foods were not readily available. So alternative um, meals had to be made. Um, Thankfully, now times are different, so there can be changes to some of the aspects of the past. Um, um, when asking what his identity meant to him, I unintentionally said African American instead of black male, and it branched the conversation in a different direction. He did not consider himself African because his ancestors' culture had been stripped, oppressed, and replaced with the dominant religion of white communities. More specifically, much of America is what is expected of the white man. Mm, Many years, the impact America has had over the years has been um, debatably irreversible. Um, Moving on, um, struggles he faced on a day-to-day basis with his identity um, was a lot of anxiety. Um, he noticed that in certain places there are more looks that are given to him, and because of that, from a young age, he was very conscious of his own behaviors and how it can affect others, um, being that so he doesn't put himself in a situation where he gets in trouble for something he is not involved with. Um, Now, moving on to um, the future, I wanted to gear the conversation towards on how he would bring about his experiences teaching on to um, those past him or just with himself moving on. So, when asked how he would prepare a child, um, he said that he would assist them in understanding that they can't change other people's prejudices, but as long as they um, um, continue to be fearless and always be open and educated about various topics, um, then that will bring about um, um, beliefs. Um, when asked about values, beliefs, and traditions that he will start within himself, it went around three different areas. The first being education. He wants to hold a bigger importance on being educated in this world. Um, the second was to bring a greater importance to diet. Um, and the last was an all around awareness of oneself, those around them, and the impact on the world. Um, um, I I valued what I learned from this experience. Coming from also like what the TED Talk had said um, of the different experiences of people, different ways, and how one person sees something can be completely different from someone else, or how a child is very impressionable and what they read will steer them on the continuation of their life unless they are educated in the right manner or are just fueled more misinformation. Um, it's very important to experience for oneself to get a grasp of what an area or a group of people truly are like.